Hello, everyone. How are you today?
Hi, this is Karine Carpino,
And this is Terry Jones.
and I am just going to double check on my phone that we're truly live.
Oh, I should have been the person doing that, shouldn't I? So today we're going to start out with, I'll start starting somewhere. Today Karine's going to lead us through doing a background with depth to do a collage painting. And she says we're live.
We are live. I've just double checked. So, good morning, everyone. And so, we're starting a new month. And so, this month, we're going to celebrate our artistic growth. And so, as I thought about that, we kind of grow in layers over time. We experiment, we find inspiration, at least I do. And so I think I want to explore how layering can reflect both our visual depth and our personal transformation. So today I'm going to start a mixed media painting that begins with collage elements. Some of them I've made myself, and I'll show you that. Um, with the intent of layering colors and marks and textures. And because it's springtime and it's kind of that time of awakening, I don't know exactly where I'm going to land with this, but I am going to have some botanicals in it. And I won't get through the entire project today, but I'm going to show you kind of step by step this month. We're going to work through different layering techniques.
Okay, and I'm
Okay.
following the leader.
All
So
right. So I'm
on
going to switch my camera and point it down.
there I am. Okay, now I prepped two old panels that I had. One of them, as you can see, had a little alcohol inks. I am a little concerned. I have had two layers of gesso and the alcohol inks are still coming through, but that's okay. It was a nice little, they're very pale. And this is another panel that I prepped. Um, so I just put a little gesso on them so that they will successfully help kind of glue things down. So,
Okay. I have lost my camera.
well, that's not good.
No. So keep going while I get it back.
Okay. So one of the things I love with collage is that you can use stuff over again because these were originally panels that I had cut for alcohol inks. And you can see here, this one got a little chipped, so it wasn't suitable for alcohol inks, but it's great for collage. And again, this one is an alcohol ink one that I didn't realize many, many years ago when I first started doing this. These are panels that whiteboard panels that I get from Home Depot. I did not realize how delicate the surface was. And after I put alcohol inks on it, I managed to get it scratched. So I am
Oh.
repurposing it for this.
Yeah, that's good to know, Terry, because is that sort of like almost like a melamine board or
It is a mellow, it's actually literally considered, it's called chalkboard. And so
okay.
you can have one side's black and one side's white. And
Okay. I have some that the back somebody gave me the back side of brown and the front is white, and I can paint on it, but I'll check that. That's good to know about
yeah,
potential scratching.
I gave you the ones with the brown on the back, and they
Yeah.
scratch easily. Yes.
Okay. So this is, let's get this in the light in the camera here. This is a board that I started this week. And you can see that I've got this was also something that was something else. And I've put down where I'm going to start today my neutral collage papers. And then I started to gesso and stencil and paint over it. And all of these paintings will have many more layers before they're finished. But I'm trying to create depth in the layers. And so here I've kind of ripped before we got on camera. I ripped some collage papers up and cut some up. I've made some of my own, not just through papers that we make on the gel play, but I actually took, this was a unfinished page in my art journal. And I actually took a picture of it and printed it just on my inkjet printer. And, you know, now I have a piece, I have my own, these are some more of them. I have some of my own pages I can rip up and use. Yes, I already ripped up some and use in my my collage. So we can repurpose what we've played with in our journals too.
It's a great idea, Corinne.
It's not an original idea. I got it from another artist, but
I,
thank you.
everything comes from somebody else, doesn't
That's right. So because I'm working on an old gesso panel, I'm going to be using my Liquitex matte gel as opposed to my matte medium. And I have my matte gel brush that I usually use. And if any of my papers are heavy, I have a water bottle so I can spray them. And let's just get going. Because Terry, I see you're already going.
I'm already going.
Yeah, let's just get going and get our papers down. So, because it's springtime, I have kind of an inspiration to think about. And so I'm going to put my inspiration in mine too. And it says everything blooms from within. So I'm going to use that too. Now, a lot of these neutral papers I've gotten from libraries on the internet where artists offer up free collage papers. And some of it I absolutely love. And some is book pages and pages from old music books. You can use whatever you have for your neutral collage papers. I think, Terry, you used a very fragile page from an old book.
Yes, I've used it
At one point.
Yes. And this is a failed a failed pull from a gel plate where I was trying to do an image transfer, this little barn image here. So I have lots of different images. Mostly what I'm using are kind of gel plate images and a few different pieces of paper. But I'm big on trees this year. So
yeah, now that's our project, I think, for
oh,
this month. We are gonna, so if you're gonna start on trees, that's fine. I can't remember if it's our project or if it's our Wednesday night member only live session, but we will get into some trees there too. So that's really you're kind of right in where my thinking is.
serendipitous.
I know.
I know. I love some of these old pieces of paper here that I've got and some of these. I'm just going to kind of start and we'll see what ends up here.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is, as you said, this is just the foundation.
Right. Some of this for mine, some of it will show through. We will see how much. Now I have found this scraper in my stash of art supplies when I was looking for stuff for another project. And so I'm just using it to get my papers down nice and flat.
Okay, well, I'm just going to start putting stuff down.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
And I am kind of varying the colors as I put them down, even though it's all neutral. Since some of it's going to show through, I don't want it to be all the same shade of tan.
White or tan, right?
Right.
Okay. Now I'm just kind of starting with some colors, or not colors, starting with some pieces of paper here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly where it's going to go either. I do like, I'm know why this is a lot of salvation in this one. I don't know everything. I didn't realize the one I picked keeps on saying saved, saved,
Says saved.
saved. I don't know why. I found a friend. That's what I
Ah,
saw the I found a friend, but then it's an old, old, old Himmel.
got it.
So it's kind of fun. I'm hoping this is going to be kind of, yeah, it is. This piece here I was hoping was going to be kind of see-through. I was trying a little bit of a image transfer on tissue paper. I got this little,
That's pretty cool.
yeah, it was. It was very cool. But what I really like is it's see-through the underneath you can see through.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like that. This is not. There's that.
I'm just kind of picking my papers and getting them down here.
I also want,
Variety.
see what happens if I stick one of these in. This one's a little dark, but we'll see. This is actually a real coffee. I made, I think we did them in the class, Corrine, last.
Coffee and tea stained papers.
Yeah, right.
I think I didn't do it, but I think you did teach it.
Yeah, I think that's where that came from. I was just looking at
It's a
some.
while ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. I just ran into this piece of paper and I said, oh, that looks pretty. Let me give it another, let me give it a little life. I think I actually pulled it out for something else and changed my mind. Love this dead barn piece here. That's too dark there, though. I need some lighter light stuff.
I need some music paper. Music's required.
Yeah, I need a little bit of just miscellaneous paper.
Oh, I didn't really want that there. I think I'll put it down here.
Well,
Better. Not that you're going to see much of this, but
right, that's what always,
it's fun to kind of put it together and
and then,
decide what you want to keep and what you want to see and what you get. So each layer, I mean, we put paint down or whatever we put down, and we end up taking some away, and it's layer by layer. For me, is how I do that. I put it down and then I'll be next layer deciding what I want to keep and deciding what's good, what I don't want. I absolutely have to have a butterfly in here somewhere. I may not see it in the end, but they are busy in my garden.
they have been very busy. My what are they?
Hummingbirds.
Hummingbirds are here and they're just so adorable. Humming all over the place.
So we can't have a feeder because of the bears. But I have planted plants that they absolutely love.
Well, I have a feeder, but I'm not sure whether, I mean, we have bears, but mine's up on the porch, and I'm just hoping that the bear doesn't get to the porch.
Uh,
I have hope.
mhm.
Not sure if that hope is reality, but I do have hope. But we don't have as many problems with bears as you have down there, Corrine,
Mhm.
because you are in kind of almost a bear preserve down there.
Well, yeah, and I have behind my house is wooded.
Yeah.
So the bears do, I haven't seen one this year yet, but they I've had up to I think my dad, when he looked at it, he was here one day, said it had to be over 300 pounds. I'm like, great.
Wow, that's not what I'd want.
Yeah, so I have some of this paper that I made myself, which I'm dying to use.
I still need more. I'm just trying to get, I'm using this catalyst
Uh-huh, to put it
red,
down.
put it down. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
awesome.
guess that's sort of what this is. It's a type of catalyst.
Yeah. Well, I just bought 3 new ones for our class in June that were the cold wax and oil. So I'm gonna
Yes, I have several.
do so cool. Mine's too dark, but mine's always too dark.
What?
My background here.
No, because you're it's gonna layer. So we do, I mean, I'm gonna be adding darks into mine as I create the layers. All right, so I think I'm happy with that, and I have to put my little saying here somewhere that I'm using for my inspiration. Everything blooms from within. So that probably will not show, but it has meaning for me in the underlayers.
I found this
Yeah.
really fun piece of tissue paper from, I don't know where, one of those paper stores. It has little teeny pieces of notes em embedded in it that I love.
Oh, that's neat.
Isn't that pretty?
Yes.
Very tissue paper like. So I still need a few little more spaces that need some coverage. Up, well, put these down up here. Overlay, underlay, underlay, overlay, whatever.
So I still have, I'm going to use a couple pieces in here. I still have this very pretty paper that we made
Uh-huh.
in at the John C. Campbell School
Yes.
in one of your classes.
Ooh, fun.
So this is, remember we did the wet
Yeah.
string tissue paper with the stains
Yes. That's very pretty.
and so I still have a piece and I'm going to use some of these, some darkness in a couple places. Yeah, they are so pretty.
They are.
In fact, I would like to do it again. I have everything to do them.
Well, we'll do them on we can do them in
Friday sessions.
one of the Friday sessions. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Because,
could do that this month because we are layering.
yeah, it's such a fun project.
It is.
It was just very fun.
I just have to protect my space. So as I spray stuff,
Great stuff, right?
I'm not spraying the walls.
Well, it's only a little bit of a mess. Yeah,
That's all right. We'll figure it out. Yes, it would be fun
it would be fun.
as far
I need to scissors this off, or maybe not. I'll take it off later.
where do I want some darkness? Maybe over here. I don't know. The fun of collage paper, we can kind of trial it.
Right. Well, I'm looking at mine.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of thinking where I want my darks to flow. Although, who knows how much we're going to see when I'm
Right.
done.
That's the other issue, but
Right. I'm not really creating.
this is not our final design. I
Oh, no.
the
There's
basic
probably,
design, the
I don't know how many layers will go on top of this, really. I have to I'm going to try to be very intuitive and just see where it takes me.
I
All
am.
right.
I just want a little bit of some kind of interesting. I don't know whether it's color or something in here.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, this is only the first layer, so
I didn't use did I use my gray paper? Maybe that would look nice right in there. Piece of that.
foundation.
Yeah.
How's our time going?
Hmm.
How's our time going?
We have about 7 minutes.
Oh, good. I do love how this just kind of using these tools just kind of flattens it out really nicely.
Yes.
Of course, it does mess it up too if you have something that's not down.
Well, and I have found with this tool, that's a good point, Terry, that I have to be very careful if I
Gentle.
have thin papers not
Yep,
to press too heavy,
too heavy.
otherwise I rip them.
Yes, I got a very ripped piece of thin paper there, but that's okay. It just adds texture, right?
Mm-hmm. I kind of like this little piece. And so, as we do this, we're, adding layers today as we layer our background papers.
Right.
So lots and lots of layers.
So,
So my next step after I get this done is I'll let it dry.
mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna start to probably add some more darks with stencils here and there, and then I'll probably go back in with gesso and start to get rid of some, and then I'll just have to see where it goes from there as far as paint and markers and neo colors and whatever else I'm getting inspired to use.
Yes, I think
But
the same thing.
I
I feel like I need a little more light in places, but I can also do that with, as you say, I can do some of that with paint. So I don't have to do it
right.
totally with this. I just feel like it needs just a little more light in a few of the places.
Yeah, you started darker than I did. I started lighter
Yeah,
and started layering darks on, and you're kind of working backward,
right, I
well,
am.
opposite of me,
I am. But
which
that's
is
okay.
fine. It's interesting how, we have different approaches.
Right, we can be opposite.
Of course we can. Of course we can. Now, I wanted to look for a piece of transparent paper and see if I have time to find some.
I really want to put some of this pretty.
I also want to use, as we go along in the project, some of these texture papers that I made, which I'm not ready to use them yet, but for those people who
Oh,
are watching, you can take some heavy gesso or modeling paste, heavyweight gesso or modeling paste, and put it through a stencil on tissue paper and just let it dry. And I know I just love the scroll work. I'll probably use some of that. So I know I've got that out because I know at some point um, I want to add it. Oh, we have more flowers. Look at that.
ooh, very
This is
pretty.
Tim Holtz paper. Um, Tim Holtz botanical tissue paper. I bought it years and years ago and still have some. Since this is about blooming and stuff, I'm thinking somewhere I have to get a bloom in here. Maybe not that one. Not that one. Maybe a smaller piece of something. Yeah, I like it right there. Get some more of that writing in there. I love writing in my backgrounds. So this will help me get some more dark sims.
And I'm working on getting some more lights in. But
This is tissue paper I made with, I'm using now, that I made with paint and a stencil on tissue paper.
oh, that's
that.
very pretty.
Use a little piece of that. For some reason, I like that number showing, even though I'm not usually one with numbers in my work. All right, so I don't know that I want to overwork this, which is one of my problems, not knowing when to stop.
Well, and I think I'm gonna I think I'm going to temporarily stop. I'm actually going to end up putting some lighter, like botanicals. Instead of going dark botanical, I might a little light botanical in some of these areas to get more light in. I don't want to cover up too much, but I do want to get a little more light in mine.
Okay.
But I'm liking this energy that's happened here. So I'm thinking I'm going to let mine dry. And then my intention is going to be maybe using some stencil to put light words in the darker places, like white.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
And then also I have this other stencil that I have sitting here. Somehow I thought we were going to get to stenciling today, which
Well, it just depended on how long I have my stencils out too, but we
right,
gotta let this dry before we get the stenciling.
right. So I might stencil some light. Yeah, I might stencil some light in some places in here with botanical shape of sorts, repeating 2 or 3 times. So I don't know whether we're going to do that next week or we should do that before next week. What's our next week's layer project?
Well, we can add our stencils. Why don't we do this? Why don't we and for those who are watching, if you're following along with this, let's add our stencils during the week.
Okay.
And then we can start to decide what we're keeping and pushing back and work on the following layer. So it'll be this layer and stencils this week, and then next week we can kind of add our next layer. How's that sound, Terry?
That sounds perfect because I kind of have an idea, Neil, that I've worked on this where I want to put my stencils,
Right.
but now I need to get it dry.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. And we're at 11:31, so we're done for this week.
Okay.
Everybody who's watching, I hope you got some ideas from today's session, and please consider joining us in our membership, exploremixedmedia.com. For only $7 a month, you get a private project, an additional YouTube session for an hour, and really kind of get to see more about how we finish our pieces that we start during these Friday sessions. So thanks for joining us, Terry. It was great, and I'll see you next week.
I'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.